Hi, we are from Group 2, and my name is Muhammad Farhan Faris bin Ismail, and my fellow friend will be Erin Samuel, Eric E. Jinguli, and Nur Intan binti Hamid. We will be presenting about the financial management which related to the corruption issues. Our main topic will focus on 1MDB issues. For the introduction, New Public Management emphasizes efficiency, effectiveness, and the incorporation of private sector techniques into the public administration. Introduced in Malaysia during the 1980s and 1990s under Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. New public management aimed to enhance national competitiveness and public sector efficiency inspired by global trends and successful Western reforms. Despite these efforts, corruption has persisted, exemplified by the 1MDB scandal involving a former prime minister. The scandal highlights the challenging of implementing of public management in Malaysia and underscore the need for strong governance, robust oversight, and a culture of integrity to ensure transparency and accountability in public-private partnership.
Hello, I will be sharing about the relevance between 1MDB and new public management. Firstly, new public management is all about governance and accountability. Second, transparent and financial management, clear accountability mechanisms. The fourth, performance-based assessments, and the fifth, of reducing corruption. Meanwhile, 1MDB, they revealed deep corruption scandal within the public sector. It is lack of oversight and accountability, no monitoring or regulation by relevant authorities, the corruption that happens deep within the government structure, and the lack of enforcement mechanism. In a nutshell, the 1MDB scandal provides critical insights into the challenges of implementing new public management reforms in Malaysia. While new public management aims to improve public sector efficiency and accountability, this scandal underscores the importance of robust governance frameworks, strong oversight mechanisms, and a culture of integrity.
My name is Irene and I will present what the symptom or indicator of the corruption. The issue of new public management and corruption can be seen as a controversy issue. The debate about this issue has been discussed in recent years, including within the International Public Management Network. NPM has implemented the foster of accountability, transparency, and good governance. However, the element of corruption still exists in the government sector. Well, corruption can be defined as a misuse of public officer for private gain. Private gain refer the personal benefit that individual in position of power derive from the action. The most prominent example corruption cases in Malaysia is the 1MDB scandal that involved by high level of public official for private gain. These corruption cases involve of billion of US dollar and effect of Malaysia government reputation. According to Malaysia Anti-Corruption Statistics, civil servants made up 46.3% of 40,660 persons arrested from 2040 to June 2019. The first symptom and indicator of corruption is greed and opportunities. Professor John Hongred from the Law Faculty at the University of Canada posits that corruption is driven by two primary factors, which is a greed and opportunities. Individual drive by a greed prioritize personal gain over the ethical consideration and legal boundaries. And by this, the symptom of corruption is arising in the organization. Opportunities for the corruption arise when the organization is lack of transparency, lack of accountability, and insufficient legal enforcement. Second indicator, which is the organization culture. One of the key red flags is the absence of anti-corruption policy and procedure in the organization. A lack of clear guidelines, weak internal control can create the opportunities of the corruption practice. And the third red flag in the government and the public sector. In the public sector, lack of accountability and transparency refer to the absence of mechanism and process that hold the public official responsibility for their action and their decision. Lack of accountability will cause ineffective among the public servants, official, and effect to the ethical standard, and this is lead to the involvement of the corrupt activities. Next is poor documentation and false declaration. Incomplete or missing documentation for key transactions or expenses can be a signal to hide corruption. For example, one MDB investigation revealed a lot of missing documents and false transactions. They were also found in one MDB scandal using the false declaration. One of the persons involved is Joe Low, who is the senior of one MDB board. Next is operational and transactional, also the symptom and indicator of corruption. Unusual payment patterns are one of the primary indicators of potential of corruption. These payments include made to individual or entities without clear business purpose. Other than that, requests for payment to be made in cash or through third parties can be indicated to avoid detection by legal authorities or internal individuals. For example, around 681 million was transferred to the personal bank account of the Prime Minister Najib Razak. The transaction that was justified donation but raised significant suspicion due to its amount. Lastly is money laundering. Money laundering involves receiving or retaining money from this source and not investigating its origin and purpose.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Intan binti Hamid. So today I will be focusing on and discussing about the causes and factors of the issue in 1MDB, which we will be focusing more to the corruption that happened in the 1MDB. So before we went to the main issue of the problems or of the scandal of 1MDB, a little bit introduction of the 1MDB itself is before it was known as the One Malaysia Development Berhad, it began as the Terengganu Investment Authority, or in its short form is TIA, that was launched by Menteri Besar of the State of Terengganu at that time, Ahmad Said. So it was set up as a holding and investment company for the state, and the fund initially by a bond issue that worth of RM 5 billion. So in September 2009, the TIA then renamed and renowned back to Malaysian National Investment Fund under the name of 1MDB. So at the time, 1MDB was wholly owned by the Malaysia government through its Minister of Finance, and it was at the time Najib Tun Abdul Razak. So then move forward to 2009 until 2013, a joint venture with Petro Saudi International Investment worth of 1 billion, cash for 40% of stake, a launch of Tun Razak Exchange that known as TRX, then a Goldman Sachs helps 1AB sell bonds worth 3.5 billion and 3 billion, and also there are involving the name such as Wolf of Wall Street that was produced by the Red Company that was owned by Rita Aziz at that time. So firstly, the scandal was started to blow when 1MDB had missed its loan payment worth around 550 million in January 2015. So it was the start of the scandal. And then by the next March of the same year, in 2015, Malaysia's government had set up a special task force to investigate 1MDB, but then not long after that, Najib then reshuffled his cabinet by removing the key critics during his reign. So this more to save his place at the time, and it also reported that the deputy prime minister during Najib was Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, and he also was one of the key critics that were removed, and then they are also sacking the attorney general at the time, Tan Sri Abdul Ghani Patai, and the investigation of the 1MDB scandal that was that Malaysia government set up before had been shut down. So then the markdown of Najib scandal, the 1MDB rupture when he was defeated in general election, and then it also the beginning of the failing of UMNO. So then the scandal that was covered internationally is not only involving local names, yet also involving names such as Goldman Sachs, Jolo, the Wolf of the Wall Street that I mentioned before, Rita Aziz, and another name that, and the list goes on. So, so next one is the failing of control and accountability in 1MDB, which we will be focusing about the issues that happen in this scandal. So it discussed with four main points, which the first one is the embezzlement of epic scale, the bribery, the money laundering, and the last one is the declaration and bond false declarations and bond mispricing. So these all uh, points have been exercised by the official, by the public official with high ranks and also other people that the names I have been mentioned before. So first one we will go through with the embezzlement of epic scale. So what happened is that before I go through with this point, as a public general concern that 1MDB was set up as a state fund to drive a new investment in Malaysia, but then the funds had went elsewhere. So at the time, Najib, as a high-rank officials, has exercised corruptions and by stealing the national fund, which is the 1MDB, with an epic scale. So it is one of the embezzlement of money that happened in 1MDB. So the embezzlement was not only done by the Najib itself, but also done together with the mastermind. I call it as a mastermind of this scandal, which is known as Jolo, and also also other international companies that also involved in this scandal. So the embezzlement of fund was started during the Good Star Fest. So as information, the Good Star the Good Star is a company that was owned by Jolo between the year of 2009 until 2012. So Jolo had used his company, the Good Star, as a as the as the middle 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 company for him to exercise the legal activities, which is to taking money from the fund. So before we discuss further, I would like to also inform that the Jolo had been pictured as a man with luxury lifestyle, and media had stated that he spent billions of dollars to apartment in Beverly Hills and Manhattan. He also spent to private jet, yacht, and he also got Jamie Foxx, Chris Brown, the Ludacris, and also and another names, which is artist or in a very well-known people back in America to perform live for his birthday. So he had embezzled the money by credited to his account company, which is the Good Star, as the middle as the middle company, and also in order for him not to be traced for his wrongdoings, he also routed to his father accounts and also to his brother. So the name like Eric Tan is also one of the nominal owners for the company's shell and acted as a proxy for law involved the involved in the scandal. So bribery, secondly, is the bribery. So bribery in 1MDB had figure when Goldman Sachs offer amount of money to the officials in 1MDB. So a Goldman Sachs Group Incorporation is a company that provides wide range of financial services to a substantial and diversified client base that includes corporations, financial institutions, governments, and individuals. So the involvement of Goldman is when the company had offer, and then the offer was accepted government by the government to allow them arrange and underwrite the bonds that issues in 2012 and 2013. So this bank has helped in selling millions of bonds for and at the same time also for them to keep on receive business from 1MDB. So we can conclude that this situation is a win-win situation between both parties, which is the government at that time and also the Goldman. So Najib that faces with 42 charges, including money laundering that caused with multi-billion dollar from the 1MDB scandal. So the money in the third point, the money laundering was not only happened in the 1MDB, but also it is also involving the SRC International, which is the SRC International is the a former subsidiary of 1MDB company, of 1MDB, and involving a funds that worth 27 million ringgit. So it is a vast amount of money, and Najib that was charged of under section 441B of the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act 2001 for money laundering. So during the trial for his case, he was alleged to receive 27 million ringgit, 5 million ringgit, and 10 million ringgit that were proceeds from unlawful activities. So he also charged with abuse of position under Section 23 of the MACC 2009. The charge opened him during his reign of public official as a prime minister and also as a minister of finance. We can conclude that he had failed in carrying out his duty, and he also used his position at that time by committing a bribery involving uh, all, almost 50 million ringgit. So he had misused his positions as a public officials, and he also at that time provide government guarantees for loan from the retirement fund incorporated to SRC International amounting more than 3 billion ringgit. So Najib in his charge So Najib in his three charges for criminal breach of trust, he as a public official also had committed uh, other than others others illegal activities, and in a breach of trust he had involved a sum of 27 million, and for another charge he also involving money almost 5 million and 10 million from his control of funds that belong to SRC International. So what I can conclude from the previous discussion, that Najib at the time, during his reign as a prime minister and minister of finance, he had failed in carrying out his duty for the public and his country, as he was involved in an unlawful activities, and also will be facing with his lifetime in prison. So the government supposedly used the funds for the development expenses as what should be the main objective of 1MDB, but then it was exploited by the most trusted or most high-ranked public officials in the country at the time. At the time, the former Prime Minister Najib, and had brought the lost trust from the public in the federal government. And also, it was the new. It was also the thing that had brought Najib to be defeated during the general election back in 2018.
My name is Muhammad Farhan Faris bin Ismail, and I will be presenting about the solution to the 1MDB issues. The 1MDB scandal has far-reaching consequences for Malaysia's economy and reputation. To prevent similar financial fraud in the future, it is essential to implement robust anti-money laundering policies and practices. Here are some solutions to address the issues surrounding the 1MDB scandal. Firstly is strengthen investigative authorities. This includes separating the roles of Attorney General as both legal advisor and prosecutor to avoid conflict of interest. Then, ensuring the Anti-Corruption Commission has a genuine independence and ability to pursue cases, and appointing investigative authorities that can conduct credible and thorough probes into the 1MDB scandal. Secondly is protect press freedom. Specifically, stop arresting journalists, activists, and lawyers on sedition charges for reporting on 1MDB. Then, unblock access to websites and media outlets that are investigating the scandal. And allow a free press to hold leaders accountable and expose corruption. Thirdly is improve anti-money laundering policies. To address this, financial institutions must conduct thorough due diligence on client and transaction. Then senior management should foster a culture of compliance and accountability, and regulators need to enhance cross-border cooperation to combat money laundering. Lastly is strengthen regional anti-corruption efforts. This could include supporting the creation of an Asian anti-corruption body to integrate principles across region. Then sharing best practices and lessons learned from the 1MDB scandal with other countries, and ensuring a clean business environment and level playing field for companies operating in Southeast Asia. That's all from me. Thank you.